Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
April 7, 2020, the Scared to Death edition. And we start with someone who may be in that situation. That, of course, is UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who has now been moved to intensive care with coronavirus. Johnson was a long-time coronavirus denier and put the UK significantly behind the 8 ball by refusing to order a self-isolation until, frankly, it was too late. He continued to swap hands and shake hands and continued to have personal meetings. And now the 55-year-old premier is in ICU. His partner, who is pregnant with their first child, also has coronavirus, and it's an abject lesson in those who fail to heed science. He has deputized his foreign secretary, Dominic Raab, to run the government. In a almost unbelievable display of just inane sycophancy and poor taste, the acting Secretary of the Navy went on board the Theodore Roosevelt and lambasted the captain that he relieved of duty, Brett Crozer, for asking for help with his crew in a profanity-laced tirade broadcast over the entire loudspeaker system of the aircraft carrier to the entire crew. He said that Crozer was stupid and that he had to be relieved of duty because he wasn't competent to pilot a nuclear aircraft carrier. Calls have been made for his resignation based on this, and you know, when you wonder about the quality of those in the Trump administration, well, this is exactly what you get. In the world of corruption and bribery, former Fox executives have been indicted in the U.S. corruption probe of FIFA. These are Fox Sports executives who were indicted on wire fraud and money laundering charges for trying to securing rights for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups, respectively. These were superseding indictments already laid down against these executives. Fox Sports, of course, has a huge black eye over this. There's been no word on what the FCPA, or rather implications would be for Fox Sports. The FCPA does not apply to FIFA, so that's why there are no FCPA charges, but there are charges of money laundering, extortion, and corruption all involved in this. So huge black eye for the Fox Sports Network, and if these charges are proven at trial, the outcome would continue to fall out. And finally, our lead story is Scared to Death, and I find this just irony of ironies, as companies like Comcast and AT&T, who have gone to bat to deny persons right to sue them for breach of contract, fraud, and other nefarious acts by requiring arbitration, are now trying to get out of their arbitration agreements because so many people are going to arbitration against them. And they, having created this system, they finally come up against plaintiffs' lawyers who understand how to weigh the system back in favor of plaintiffs. And now, of course, the companies want to get out of this. You can clearly see where they're going with this is to take away all rights to bring any sort of adverse action in court or arbitration or otherwise. But having been scared out of courts because of jury verdicts, now they're being scared out of arbitration as well. I'm pleased to announce a new podcast series which premieres on the Compliance Podcast Network this week. It is called The Compliance Life, where I engage in an extended conversation with chief compliance officers about their road to the CCO chair and what life has been like for them in that seat. It's something that I know you will enjoy, so please check it out. It premieres next week on the Compliance Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.